Good morning, welcome to route number 36 on my Wainwright challenge. I'm parked at Loweswater, the little pull-in, and I'm going to attempt 7 Wainwrights today, about 15 miles. So here we go: Burnbank Fell, Blake Fell, Gavel Fell, Hencoombe, Melbrake, Low Fell and Fell Barrow. It's a good forecast this morning, but the weather's due to come in at lunchtime, so let's make the most of it. So it's quite a good footpath from the off. We're heading up there. There's Loweswater itself over there. So the path joins this lane. Now you can see Burnbank Fell just behind that tree. I think that's Blake Fell over there, second one. We're hanging a right up here, I think. So we'll follow this footpath sign through here. I'm walking with Jeff today, my mate, who I picked up from the train station yesterday. Very muddy path. So we seem to be heading away from the first one, but we've got to loop around and double back on ourselves to keep to the rights of way. So we're back on a little lane now. That's Iredale Place. And although they've renamed it to Jenkinson's Place, obviously it's different to the map. We'll follow this lane round and then head up onto the fell side. So after a series of lanes, tracks, paths, etc., we're just coming to this this junction here where we're going to hang a left and head up the fell. Back down now to where we started at the end of Loweswater, and in the distance over there is Water. Eventually we're going to drop down to the valley between. I'm showing you the path here, wheeling up the fell side very steeply. So that's the first view of the top. So the wind and the rain and the wintry weather has come in now. It's not good at the minute. So here we are at Burnbank Fell. Weather's really come in. So where we're going next, Blake Fell. Yeah, we're following the fence line now. This should take us right to the top of Blake Fell. So here we are at the top of Blake Fell. Very windy. Wait. Oh, we followed the path straight over the top. Now we're heading towards Gavel Fell. So we've turned left here to follow a different fence now. Just dropping out of the wind, it's been absolutely horrific. Blowing us over at the top. The wind was not forecast. So, here we are at the top of Gavel Fell. So we followed that fence line down, and here we got to a junction with another fence post, and now this fence is going to take us here to the bottom of Hencoombe, where we'll pick up a track to the top of Hencoombe. Then we're going to make a judgment call on what we're going to do for the rest of the day. So we're just out the stupid wind. It's absolutely ridiculous up on the tops, and Hencoombe is just coming into view. So we're on the side of Hencoombe. I'll show you where we've come down. We've followed the fence post there. Quite a steep little pull this. So we're going up this Hencoombe side. That's where we're headed afterwards, over there into all that gloom and wind, and I think we've decided we're going to cut the day short. and I'll leave that one for another day, the other three. So here we are at the top of Hencombe. So we've been following this track off of Hencombe. We're going to continue and follow it down until we get to the lakeside, and we're going to try and pick up a track which runs around the left hand side of Rosewater back to where the car's parked. That's the plan. So down here there's very little wind and very little rain, but look over there, you can see what we've dropped out of. Maybe we're a bit rash coming off the hill so early, but we've made the decision now. So we've got to this end of the track we've followed down, and the farmers blocked the way, saying there's no right of way through his fields. So obviously this is where open access finishes, so we're following this wall round here, and if you follow the wall up the other side, there is a public footpath which takes you down to the farm and round the lake. So we're just following a little diversion. So we're just dropping down to Rosewater now. We're on an orange dotted path on the map. I think that means permissible, with landowners' consent, I think. Anyway, it is a path, but it's an orange dotted path that I'm on at the minute. Here we are at Rosewater. Just going to walk around this path on the underside, back around to the car. Hi, welcome to what I'm going to call route 36A of my Wainwright challenge. So today's Thursday the 17th of March, and I parked at Rosewater, just outside the village at the pull-in on the roadside, just before I get to the lake. Now, we intended to walk 7 Wainwrights today, but the weather and the wind and the rain became that bad, it just wasn't fun anymore. And we made a decision on the 4th Wainwright to basically call it a day and head back to the car. Nevertheless, 4 were achieved, and it turned out to be quite a good route actually. Burnsback Fell, the first one from the car park, was a series of paths and lanes and tracks, you know, and it kind of meandered in a big loop, gaining its height ever so gradually, until eventually you left the various tracks and paths and followed a very, very steep path up the side of the fell. Made its height very, very quickly, and then once you got onto the top of the moor, it levelled off, and there's still a fair way to go until you actually got to the summit. By now the weather with it was in, it was set, so we didn't have any views to speak of. It was blowing such a strong wind which was not forecast, so it was, in terms of weather, it was quite a dismal day. So we then headed to Blakefell, which was pretty much following a fence line. We followed it all the way down, and then all the way back up, from the col all the way up to the top of Blakefell. Again, we're in cloud, nothing to see. The navigation was easy, and the paths were very visible, so there were no worries really about navigation. From there, the path dropped again. We were following a fence post, but now going through Gavelfell, there's a series of different fences to follow, so you need to make sure where the fences and junctions, etc. The stiles going over all the fences. You're following the correct path and the correct fence. Again, good paths. The visibility was really, really poor. So when we got to what looked to be the top of Gavel, we spent quite some time actually visiting various tops, if you like, until eventually we came to the cairn at the top, which is just slightly out of position to where I thought it would be on the map. Yeah. Anyway, we got to the top, and again decided to descend, and again we followed the fence line down. Now this was quite a long descent, quite a steep descent, and again we eventually got to a small rise, and eventually there was a junction in the fence posts where we had to go over the fence and follow another fence post down to the base of Hen Combe. Now Hen Combe was quite a stiff climb, very similar to the first climb, very steep, and again, you're not following paths by now. You're on not following fence posts. You're on a track on your own. So it was nice and varied, let's say. It looked to be a relatively small hill, but actually, when you were climbing up there, it seemed to go on a lot longer than you imagined. We'd made the decision by now that we weren't really enjoying the weather, and decided to head straight over the other side of Hen Combe and follow the track down, which is shown on the map, and pick up the path which took you back down Lowes Water. We did this to find at the end of the track, which we assumed would take us to the water. There was a big sign on the farmer's gate saying private, no entry, etc, etc. So we then followed the wall line round, still in the open access, until we picked up the path which does take you to the lake. A nice walk around the lake. It was an extremely boggy day. I know it was raining, so that didn't help, but we just seemed to be squelching and splashing and squidging all day. Very, very, very boggy. In fact, Jeff, my mate, while I'm making this video, he's gone out to buy gaiters. The day itself was 10 miles, and it was 2,533 feet of climbing. Yeah, so there's still a fair bit of work and effort there. It took us just over 5 hours.